My name is Megan Johnson. I'm 28 years old, and about 4 weeks ago I had an ovarian cyst removal surgery, and today I'm going to talk all about it. I'm going to take you through what happened at the operating room at the hospital, my 2-week recovery, and then some of my tips or things that I wish I would have known before the surgery, so that if anybody out there is having the same surgery as me, hopefully you'll be more prepared and it'll go really smoothly for you. So I'm gonna try to do this in just like one take, so it's probably not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be authentic. So we're gonna start with the surgery. First of all, my ovarian cyst was gigantic. It was huge. It was 48 centimeters whenever they measured it on the CT scan, which is about 19 inches long. So this is bigger than the average, but if you have one smaller, hopefully this will give you some peace of mind, because my surgery and everything turned out great. It went perfectly. There couldn't have been anything that, could have gone any better. So for my surgery, they did an open surgery. There's a fancy name for it, and I'll put that, like all that stuff in the description, because I know I probably won't pronounce it right, but they did an open surgery instead of the laparoscopic surgery, I believe is what it's called, whenever, like the opposite of the open surgery. And what they did was made like a vertical incision below my belly button. It's only like 3 inches long, and I'll actually show y'all later in the video, and I'll let you know before I show you in case somebody doesn't want to see it. But it's just like a vertical incision. They drained my cyst, so it was like full fluid or mostly fluid. They drained 12 liters of fluid out of my cyst, and it weighed like 27 pounds, which is insane. So 12 liters, like if you think of those 2-liter bottles, 6 of those was drained out of the cyst, and then they pulled the cyst out of the incision, and then they were able to just like glue the incision back together. No staples or stitches on the outside, and that was it. I didn't know what to expect. Like I asked them, hey, if you could make the incision as small as possible so that my recovery is like much better and faster, whatever, that would be amazing, but do what you gotta do to make sure that I'm healthy. That's like first and foremost, that's like the top priority, right? But they were able to do it, it was like a miracle. Basically, they were able to do it in like a really tiny incision. And I'll show you all a picture of the cyst later whenever I'm showing my incision again. So in case people don't want to see it, you can skip past that part. But they also removed the right ovary and fallopian tube, and they said that if there was any issues, like they were going to go in there, and if anything like the appendix or any, the ovaries or whatever seemed like they were going to cause future problems, then they were going to go ahead and remove it. And I said, that's fine. Again, my health is the #1 priority, but I would like to at least have one ovary and tube so that I could, have children in the future if I choose to. So they were like, okay, great. Like we'll look and do what we can. And I said, but if you need to remove one, then that's okay too, because you only need one ovary and one tube to, have children. So I still got one in place, and the other one is gone. It is out of my life. One less problem without you, right? So I've got all my notes right here, by the way. That's what I'm looking at. But yeah, so they removed that, and there's like stitches on the inside of me. So like they said, the stuff that I can see on the outside is like minor compared to all the healing that needs to happen on the inside. Like nothing catastrophic or anything, but like, they said just be mindful and everything, and I'll get to that whenever I talk about the recovery. But okay, so the glue is like still on there, but sometimes I know they do staples, sometimes I know that, they do stitches or whatever, and you have to come back at, a later time and get those removed, but I don't have to get anything removed. The glue is just like gonna wash off on its own. My hospital experience, okay? I was only in the hospital for 1 night, so it was like 2 days, 1 night. We go, like my parents took me to the hospital, we check in, they take me back to the like pre-op room, and they give me like this gown and yellow like grippy socks. And they also gave me some wipes. It was like wipes that I had to wipe on my entire body after, like before I put on my gown and socks and everything, because like the wipes kill off, like we always have like staph all over our skin, and the wipes basically kill staph. So they were wanted me to do it, and then they were gonna also do it in the operating room just to, you know, make sure I'm all clean and prepped for whenever they actually have to cut into me. So I did the little wipe thing, put my gown on, put my socks on, danced around a little bit. I laid down on the bed, and I don't know if this is like at every hospital, but they had this like blanket where you could hook up a hose, and it was like heating it. Like it was like pumping hot like air into it, and I was just like, I felt like I was under a heated blanket. It was great. So I got to lay up under that while they were putting the IV in my arm. Honestly, I found out through this whole experience, IVs and getting blood drawn and stuff like that does not hurt. Like, it feels like a pinch, but it doesn't, there's like, after that, after you feel the pinch, there's no pain. What gets me is like the mental aspect of it. So my nurse, I might have jinxed her because I said something like, I've got some good veins for you, you know, because my veins are just like very prominent. Like they, you know, they pop out pretty well. They're not doing it right now because I haven't been able to work out in a bit. But anyway, they were like popping out there, right? And she was like, oh, don't say that. Like, you know, I haven't gotten it in yet. And I was like, no, you got it. Like, it's okay. And she started like putting the IV in, and she said something about how like she couldn't. She was like, I just can't find it. And like something about that got into my head, and I started, I guess, mentally freaking out, even though there was no pain. Again, I couldn't feel it. But I was just like, started freaking out apparently mentally, because my ears started ringing and I started feeling like lightheaded, and I told her that, and I was like, my ears are ringing, and she was like, oh, are you feeling lightheaded? I was like, yeah. She said, okay, hold on. And then she ran and got like a little alcohol swipe thing or whatever and put it under my nose and told me to breathe in. She was like, don't pass out. So like I freaked myself out and I was about to pass out, but it was not from the pain. So just don't be dramatic like me and you'll be okay. But she finally got the IV in, and then she gave me, and then like my parents were able to come in. They were in there at that part, so they were with me. So I was just trying to like look at them. Anyway, they put the IV in, and then they gave me a pain medicine about 10 minutes before surgery, and it's like, they gave me the good stuff, you know, like I was feeling good. I didn't care what happened to me at that point. I was just like, y'all can do whatever you want. Like, I feel great. So, I don't remember, like, after that point, after they gave me the pain medicine, my memory is very, like, splotchy, you know? She said it has some sort of anesthesia effect, so, you know, my memory is just kind of, like, messed up from that point on because of that medicine. But apparently they gave me, like, some sort of shot in my belly. They said it was, like, a very small needle, but they said that they had to give me a shot in my belly, and I remember freaking out about the shot. But then they first gave me the pain medicine through the IV, and then I don't remember the shot. So like, I don't know, it wasn't painful apparently because I don't remember anything. So the next thing I remember is I was being like wheeled down the hall. I don't remember what doctors or who came in to like push me down the hall. I don't remember my parents like leaving the room. But like I was being pushed down the hall and I was just yapping. Like apparently this pain medicine it turned me into a yapper. It just let me loose, right? So they rolled me into the operating room, and I remember like looking up and I was just like, everything is so clean in here, you know? And it was like, everything was white, like the purest white that I've ever seen. With like blue accents on it. I remember, and I was just like, oh, that is so pretty, you know? And then I was just like, yap, like talking to the surgeons and like the surgical team. And I remember just a few of the things that I said. I was like, are y'all the surgical team? And they all looked at me and they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And was just like talking. And I told them about me going to the grocery store a few days before to get a watermelon that was the same size as my cyst. And then I remember the anesthesiologist saying that she was about to give me the anesthesia, and then the next thing I remember is waking up in the post-op room, so after the surgery was over, waking up and like my parents coming into the room. So surgery was done. I don't remember falling asleep. I don't remember anything. I was just out. Like she said she was gonna give it to me, like the anesthesia, and then out. No memory, no nothing, just done. So the surgery went really well. Like I said, it only lasted like 30 to 45 minutes. They said that they expected it to last 2 hours. So, you know, much faster than even they expected, which was amazing. And then after the surgery, they told me, like, you know, I was like very out of it and very just like groggy, and like my mind was awake, but my body was just like, go to sleep, you know, but I was so excited. Like I was just so excited, I wanted to be awake. But I slept, but every single hour the night of the surgery, so my surgery was at 11:30 a.m., but that night, throughout the night, every single hour on the hour, I had to wake up to go pee. Like I had to pee so bad, and it would just hit me all of a sudden, but it was on the dot every hour. They told me that the first time that I needed to go to the bathroom, that I needed to let them know, so I had to like hit the little button on my bed and get them to come in. And I remember they came in, and I told them I had to use the bathroom, and this nurse, he was helping me up, you know. I got out of the bed. I remember taking a couple of steps, and then I passed out, and he caught me, but I don't remember it. Like the next thing I remember is like he's like setting me down onto the toilet. And I was just so tired. That took everything out of me, and I guess that's why they wanted me to call them for the first time, me getting up to go to the bathroom, because, you know, there was a risk of me passing out and everything just from the anesthesia and the surgery and whatever. I was just like, my body was just too fatigued and under all the meds and whatever. So this was a funny story too. This is, you know, again, like the surgery went great, and if you're nervous about it, like what I remember most is like the funny moments. So hopefully this will help ease your mind and, you know, make you realize it's not that bad. So anyway, one of the funny memories or moments that I had was that first time going to the bathroom, whenever I like mustered all the energy that I could to take those 2 steps, and then he sat me down on the toilet. No shame, by the way. Like whenever you're in the hospital, at least this was my experience, there is absolutely no shame with like your whole backside being out. Like the gown is open and you're just like, I don't even care. So I'm sitting there on the toilet. He's trying to give me some space, right? There's another nurse in there like helping or whatever. He's like standing at the door, but he's like looking off, you know, just trying to give me some privacy. I did not care. I was so tired. I remember thinking, I was just like, oh my gosh, if I could just lay my head down somewhere, like that would be so good right now, because I feel like I can't even hold myself up, but I do have to use the bathroom, but like I couldn't even muster the energy to get myself to go. It was weird, but I told him, I was like, hey, come here. And he walks over to me, and I'm like, come here, like get closer. And he's like, you know, touching my knees. That's how close he is. And I just like lay my head into his side, and I pass out. Like I'm just asleep, and I don't remember how long I was there. My mom was outside of the room like laughing, and afterwards, like she told me that I fell asleep for a good like 5 minutes, and he was so good about being patient, you know, because I guess he sees stuff like this all the time. He understands. So, he was trying to be patient, and then he was just like, all right, like we can't sleep on the toilet, like let's go. And I was like, no, like I gotta go. And then I finally peed, and that was that. And then from then on, they put an alarm on my bed so that if I got out of the bed, the alarm would go off, because they didn't want me getting up on my own because I had passed out the first time. But like I said, I had to pee every hour on the hour, and whenever I had to go, like I had to go. Like it was like, oh, this is urgent. And I think it's because they had so much fluids going into me that my body was just like flushing out all the stuff. So, I remember like calling the nurse every hour, and a few times like I couldn't wait on them to come in, so I just had to get up, and then the alarms on the bed would go off, and then like 4 nurses would rush in and be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I had to pee, I'm sorry, you know. And I didn't want to pee on the bed. And after a while, like this was after a few times whenever I was like, okay, I can walk on my own, and I gotta pee. Like, I'm not just doing it to be rebellious, but like, I gotta go right now or I'm gonna pee on this bed, and I really don't want to do that. So after like the third time of making the alarms go off, they were like, okay, she's got it. Like, she can pee on her own. Like, she'll be fine. So they turned the alarms off, and they let me, you know, be independent whenever I had to go pee. The medicine, whatever medicine they were giving me in the hospital, it apparently worked because I was feeling really good. I did not have any pain at all. It was just the, you know, the weakness or the fatigue of like walking to the bathroom. But the next day after the surgery, like a bunch of different doctors and stuff like come in to check on me, and one of them was the physical therapist. And she came in and she talked to me for a minute, and then she got me to do different things. Like, for example, I had to hold my arms up like this. She like pulled on them, and like, you know, she told me to keep them, like, don't let her pull me forward, basically. So I was like, okay, I was born for this. I've been preparing for this. So I was excited. So I did that really good. Hold the arms out. Don't let her push them down. And then we went for a walk. Did a lap. We did some other stuff like with my legs, like kick one leg out, kick the other leg out, you know, sit down, stand up, like walk over here, sit down, sit on the toilet, you know, making sure that I could do all the basic things. And then we went for a walk around, and it was a very slow stroll, but you know, I did it really well. For just having surgery. And then she was like, well, you don't need me, like, you're good to go, you know, like, you are healing really well, and I'll let them know or whatever. So then later another surgeon comes in, not my surgeon. I unfortunately didn't get to see my surgeon after my surgery. My parents, like, she met with my parents and told them all the details, but she was, you know, I guess she was busy or had other, you know, surgeries or whatever going on. So another surgeon came in to actually take off my bandage and make sure that, you know, it looked okay and it was still closed up and everything before she discharged me. So she looked at it and she was like, oh my goodness, like, that looks so good. Like, can't believe it's that small and all of that stuff. So they discharged me and was just like, okay, like, you're, you know, be good until your 2-week follow-up. They told me to walk every single day and, you know, make sure I'm just like resting whenever I feel like I need to, take the pain medicine whenever I feel like I need to. So now I'm gonna go over the 2-week recovery. So for my 2-week recovery, they gave me ibuprofen and a pain medicine, and I only had to take the pain medicine one time, and the rest of the time I took the ibuprofen because my pain levels were very low, like very, very minimal or no pain throughout the whole recovery process, which I was very surprised about. I thought I was gonna be like in pain and like hunched over, and like it wasn't like that. Okay, so I walked every single hour as they told me to, or like every other hour. Took daily naps in a recliner. If you have a recliner, by the way, it comes in handy. That thing was like, you know, I was always in that thing. So it's very useful, but it is like hard to do like the recliner or whatever on your own. I figured out I could use my legs so that I wasn't using my core to actually push myself back, but then getting up and getting out of the recliner, like, I had to get my mom or my brother to help me. My mom stayed with me and we stayed at my brother's house like for my 2-week recovery, and that was a huge help if you know, can have somebody to help you, because it's going to be challenging to do daily things like, you know, for example, drying my legs after a shower. I couldn't bend over, and lifting my legs up and everything just wasn't, you know, it didn't feel good. It wasn't really an option then. So my mom would like dry my legs after a shower and help me get dressed and everything. So things like that, I wouldn't say they would be impossible without somebody else, but it definitely would have been much harder. So I was so grateful to have my mom there to help me. But okay, so even though I didn't have pain, one of the weird things that I experienced was my organs moving around. So apparently this is very common after like childbirth, not necessarily common after having a cyst unless it's huge like mine was. But my organs, like whenever I lay over to the side, my organs will move like over, and it makes like a gurgling sound. It's so weird, and at first it kind of like made me sick to my stomach. Now it's gotten better. Like I said, we're only 4 weeks, you know, after the surgery. So now it kind of just feels like food is moving through my organs instead of it feeling like my organs are falling. So it is getting better. It's just like, you know, slowly but surely we're getting back to normal with that. But what helps with that is like compression. I'm wearing compression shorts right now. I've been wearing compression things since after the surgery, and it's helped in so many ways. So I highly recommend, and I'll show you some like compression things like on the screen or whatever that have helped me, because the compression underwear was like the best thing that I bought. I bought like a belly binder, and that wasn't comfortable, and it wasn't low enough to really support, you know, what I had going on. So my incision is really low. So I guess if you've had like a C-section or anything like that, then it's probably really similar, except mine's a vertical incision. Anyway, compression on the incision itself feels really good. And again, like I said, it helps with the organs moving and whatnot. So I'll put my favorite like compression thing right here, and I put it in my Amazon. I created like an Amazon playlist, I guess you could call it, or like it's like a Pinterest board kind of. It's titled Recovery, and that's where I put all the stuff that has really helped me during my recovery. So I'll link it in the description, in the YouTube description below. So if you want to go see all the things that I recommend that have really helped me, then you can see it there. After surgery, they recommended me to eat soft foods. So I ate foods, and this is like, it's really helpful that these are the foods that I normally eat anyways, but oats, eggs, avocado, fish, yogurt, sweet potato without the skin, because it's a little bit harder for our bodies to digest the skin. But just the insides. I love sweet potato. That was pretty much what I ate. I also took stool softeners. Stool softeners helped me so much. I can't even imagine if I wouldn't have taken the stool softeners, like how that experience would have been, because, all right, we're about to get TMI, but not really. Like if you're gonna have the surgery, you need to know. It took me 4 days before I actually pooped again. And that was like a little bit of a scary experience. Like it was like a little uncomfortable, and I was like, it's like, cause you don't want to push or like squeeze or whatever your abdomen, because you're like, in your head at least, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna ruin like everything that they had that's healing, like I'm gonna mess it up if I like squeeze. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think we're actually that fragile, but it's what it feels like. So I would recommend actually taking stool softeners before your surgery, as long as, you know, your surgeon, your doctors and everything say that that's okay. But if not, taking it after really helps, and stay on top of those if they say that you can take them. That really helped me, and I took them for about 2 weeks after, until the 2-week mark after. So yeah, stool softeners, any brand. I had just like some sort of off-brand from CVS. I started my period 5 days after my surgery, so, you know, my ovary, my left ovary, she was like, nope, we don't stop. Like, this train is still moving, you know? And it was like a very light period. So that was the only period that I've had since after surgery. I should be having my next one next week, so we'll see if it's like normal or if it's different than before my surgery and everything. I'm very interested to see how, you know, it's gonna change or whatever, but that's a topic for a different day. On day 4 after the surgery, I felt really good mentally, and I finally had like a little bit more energy, and so I decided to go to the grocery store with my mom, and she wouldn't let me go unless I took a nap though, so I had to take a nap before I went. Felt like a little kid again, it was great. But I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, if I drive one of those little like carts around the grocery store, it should be fine, because I'm not walking, because like at this point I was just walking very, very slowly, like around the house, not even like outside yet. So I was like, but if I just ride on a little cart, I'll be okay, like one of the electric like motorized scooter things. No, bad idea. With like all my organs like moving around and everything, even wearing the compression, driving the little cart was not fun. It was not comfortable. After like 30 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. Like I'm ready to get out of here. And then I went home and laid down, and I was fine after that. But learn from me. Don't, you know, whenever you feel like you're ready, you're probably not. Like, give it a few more days before you actually, you know, try to do like normal things again. Okay, so another thing that I didn't really think about, like people told me that sneezing and stuff was, you know, that's a little scary, but laughing. I was staying with my brother and with my mom, and they both know how to crack me up, and laughing was scary. Laughing felt like, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna like explode out of my incision. So every time that I would laugh, I had to like grab a pillow and like push onto my incision and try to get myself to stop. Because it hurt. It hurt, but I don't think it actually like injured anything, but it didn't feel good. It wasn't like comfortable. It's almost like whenever you laugh so hard, your stomach starts to hurt, but in this case, it's like your stomach already hurts, so laughing is just like, you know, it's not enjoyable. So I actually ended up like altering my laugh, and it still hasn't completely come back or like to normal, because I adopted like a silent laugh. I don't know, it's like I will laugh now, like the only laugh that I have is like what you hear right here, but if I'm laughing really hard, it's just silent, which is so funny. I actually had a video of me and my mom laughing at her trying to operate my camera when I was trying to film a video for TikTok, and you can see my silent laugh in that video.
Are you filming? I think.
So laughing was painful, but it was worth it. So then we get to my 2-week checkup, and my mom takes me to the 2-week checkup, and they basically just like look at my incision, they ask me how I'm doing, they ask if I've used the bathroom, and at this point I'm very like regular. I'm back on like my daily, you know, using the bathroom or pooping once a day routine, so that's really good. They showed me like the ultrasounds and the pictures of the cyst. Like I got to see my surgeon at the 2-week checkup. She showed me a picture of my cyst, and it did not look how I was expecting it to. Like it looks like healthy. So I'm about to show you a picture of my cyst. I'll show you a picture of my surgeon also, and like the ultrasound and everything up here. But I'm about to show you a picture of the cyst, and I'm going to show you my incision. So for anybody who doesn't want to see that, like skip ahead like a minute or so so that you don't see it. So, all right, 3, 2, 1, here's my cyst. I named her Cysterella. She, in my opinion, looks very healthy, and I'm very proud of her. She grew super big and then was drained. This is the picture of it after it was drained, by the way. Like they drained 27 pounds of fluid out of the cyst and then pulled it out of me, and this is what it looks like. The thing that I was like freaked out about is like all of the veins, like the network of veins that is in the cyst just blew my mind. I was like, how, like what? I don't know. I don't understand that. If anybody knows more about this and why it has so many veins in it, please let me know. All right, I'm gonna show you my incision. So again, there's still glue on it. I've got my compression shorts on and some compression underwear. These are a different compression underwear than what I showed earlier. These are like shorter and a little less compressive, so that's what I'm wearing now. But this is my incision. Again, a little bit of glue is still on it, but the incision is looking really, really good. And they still have like it's still got the purple marker from the surgery where they had to draw on my stomach, and then they covered it with the glue. But what I've been doing is just like washing it with my hand instead of a washcloth, and that's been getting it off like slowly, but I'm not scrubbing it yet, so you know, it'll come off eventually. But right now I'm keeping it covered in the sun, so I'm not like exposing it to the sun. I don't know if if the glue in the sun will do something weird or whatever. And also, like, whenever the glue is all the way off, I'm probably still gonna keep it covered for a while, not because I'm trying to hide it, but because I want it to like heal really well. And I know if you have scars out in the sun, it could like, you know, decrease the, you know, quality of its healing. So whenever I do have it out in the sun, I'm going to cover it with sunscreen and you know, make sure that I'm just like putting that vitamin E, like this is what I've researched and learned, but the vitamin E like capsules, like that you can take as like supplements, you can break them open or poke a hole in them and squeeze out the gel on it, and that's what I plan on doing whenever all of the glue is off of it, and that supposedly is going to help it to heal really well. So we'll see. That's just my plans for the future. Other things that I plan to do is make sure that I am still wearing my compression whenever I go out for my walks. So now, yesterday was the first day that I walked 1 mile without stopping. So it took me about 4 weeks to get to this point, but this morning I went for my morning walk and walked a mile without stopping, and it felt really good. But I still like to wear my compression while I'm walking because it helps with my posture and my back and everything. My back, I noticed, was like the thing that I struggled with, like pain-wise, the most. It didn't hurt, it just felt really fatigued, like I did a really hard back workout, but that was probably because my weight was so like shifted, like it changed so much like of my posture because of how massive the cyst was. So if you have like a regular size cyst, then you probably won't have to, experience that, but that's just something that I've noticed. So like my upper back and everything felt like it needed more support. It just felt like gravity was just like pulling me over and I was like hunching over. But yeah, I'm slowly increasing activity. Right now, for this first month after surgery until about July 3rd, which is my 6-week post-op point, I'm only doing breath work and walking. So trying to make sure that I'm getting that 1 mile. Now that I've reached 1 mile, I'm going to try to keep that as my baseline throughout the day. 1 mile in the mornings before it gets too hot, and doing my breath work. Oh, the incentive spirometer, the little breathing thing that they give you, I use that every single day, and I still use it to this day, and I do believe that that really helps me with my recovery. So if they give you one, use it. Next month, I plan on doing yoga, like stretching type stuff, really working on my flexibility and my hips and everything, and then increasing my walking distance. So hopefully getting to 2 miles without stopping. And then the month after that, I'm gonna do Pilates and then walking on an incline. So I'm gonna bring the distance back down and walk on an incline, whether it's like hills outside or walking, there's a fly, or walking on the treadmill on a small incline. Just start, making it more and more challenging. And then I'm gonna continue eating the 90% whole foods. And I was doing this before surgery, for the past year, probably, or 90% whole foods. I've probably been doing that for 4 months or so before surgery. So that, I believe, really, really helped me with recovering really well from my surgery. So highly recommend keeping your foods, mostly whole foods, just to make sure you're giving your body all the things that it needs to recover really well, and also keeping it high in protein. So I can make more videos and stuff about that, and I probably will on my YouTube shorts, is make videos, keep making more videos about nutrition and all the things that I'm eating and everything like that. And if y'all are interested, I might make YouTube videos of the workouts that I'm doing. Like I said, right now it's just breath work and walking, so it's not too exciting, but whenever I start doing my yoga and Pilates and stuff like that, if y'all want to see it, then let me know. All right, now I'm going to give you my tips for, after surgery, before surgery, things that I wish I would have known, things that I wish I would have bought, and things that just helped me overall throughout the surgery and recovery process. So, number 1, take the stool softeners before the surgery if you can, but definitely after the surgery if your surgeon says that you can. Wearing compression underwear, not a corset or a binder. Again, that's just it wasn't super comfortable for me, but the compression underwear is really comfortable. Slip-on shoes. I did not think about this, but you can't bend down and put your shoes on. So I bought some Birkenstocks, or knockoff Birkenstocks or whatever, from Amazon. I also put those in my Amazon playlist, the recovery playlist. Slip-on shoes are crucial. I still wear them every single day. An incline pillow, or a wedge pillow. I bought one off of Amazon that really helped me in my recovery, because you can't use your abs whenever you're laying down. I still don't just use my abs, I don't just lay straight back. I go over onto my side, and this is another tip. go over onto my side, I use my arms to lower myself down, and then I roll over onto my back. And laying or sleeping on my back is the most comfortable position still for me. So having that incline, especially if you don't have a recliner, is like game changer. It's honestly like the only way that I was able to sleep at night. So highly recommend the wedge pillow. Oh, night gowns. So not like the cute little pajamas, because I first bought some like pajama sets where it had the shorts and, you know, the button-up shirts or whatever. No, it was not comfortable to wear anything on my waist, even though my incision is below my belly button. Even if I just wore things above my belly button, it did not, like, it was not comfortable. So I found that having night gowns, which I didn't realize how incredible they are. Like, I love them so much. They're so cute, in my opinion, and I still wear them, because, not because I have to, but because I just think they're cute, and they're very, very comfortable, actually, to sleep in. I was very surprised by that. But get you some nightgowns. My mom wanted to buy me muumuus, and I was like, let's see if there's something just a little bit cuter. But if you like muumuus would also be great. Stay hydrated. For me, it's really hard to stay hydrated if I'm not up and moving around. But it is so crucial because, you know, still going back to the using the bathroom thing, like if you're not hydrated, it's going to make that process like so much harder. So the things that I drink, and I still have been drinking, you know, in the recovery, is water, body armor. I love the body armor lights. Pretty much all the flavors, but like the purple one, the blue one, and then the cherry lime one those are my favorites. Tea, I have been drinking like hot tea, like spearmint tea, because spearmint tea supposedly helps a lot with hormonal acne, and right now I have a lot of hormonal acne because they took out an ovary and a tube and everything, and of course it's gonna affect my hormones, so I've been breaking out, but drinking the tea seems to be helping. I also drink matcha throughout the day, or not throughout the day, like after my breakfast in the morning. I make like a high protein matcha, and I'm sure I'll make a video about that at some point. But also bone broth. Bone broth is really, really good for recovery, especially like abdominal surgery recovery, or, you know, it's really good for gut health or anything. So drinking hot bone broth, or, you know, I guess it doesn't have to be hot, but drinking bone broth is highly recommended usually after surgery. Get a good book, or, you know, watch a good show. One of my best friends, she came to the hospital with a care package, and it was so sweet, and she brought me like little chocolates, because I love dark chocolate, and she brought me a book, and it was the Hunger Games, like the new Hunger Games movie book, so it was like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I have not read a book like this in so long. Usually I read like the personal development books and stuff, but she picked this book out for me because I love the movie, and I'm in the middle of it and I'm just eating it up. I love it. I forgot how much I love these types of books. The show that I've been watching is The Chosen. I've seen it before, but if you have never seen it, it is my absolute favorite show. I can't even explain it. I won't even be able to do it justice, but me and my mom started it from the beginning, and it is a great show to watch, you know, after surgery, because if you like things that are like, you know, it touches the heartstrings, makes you laugh, makes you cry. You know, it's just like really, it's just a high quality show. Watch The Chosen. You can watch it on the Chosen app. This sounds like an ad, but it's not. They have like an app that's free. Like you can download it, kind of like Netflix or whatever, one of those apps. So look for the Chosen app, download it, and then you can watch it from there. Anyways. Eat high protein foods. Protein is going to help you to recover. It's going to help your skin to recover, your organs, all of the things from the surgery to recover really well. Eating anti-inflammatory foods. And again, I can make other videos about this, but these things, keeping inflammation low, is going to be key in helping you to recover and helping you to feel good. I truly believe that I recovered so well and so quickly because my body was already prepped, and I continued to feed it all of the things that it needed to be able to heal really well. So keeping inflammation low is crucial in that. So again, go look at my other videos, or let me know if you want to see videos of exact things that I was eating. They will probably tell you this, but don't bend to pick things up or, you know, do anything, squat. So I had to learn how to like squat and, you know, do like maneuver in weird ways to like put my underwear on and put my pants on and stuff like that. Because I'm still not like bending over to pick things up or anything. So squatting is crucial. If you don't have leg muscles, then you probably will after this. Oh my goodness, no straws. Don't drink out of a straw. They told me that at the hospital, but I was like, you know, what is like one drink a day? Because I drink my matchas, like my little matcha, iced matcha lattes in the mornings with a straw. And I was like, what is, you know, it'll be okay. Like, because I know that drinking through a straw, you're ingesting some air, right? And getting like air bubbles. I didn't realize how much it actually was until this surgery. So now I know how crucial it is not to drink out of a straw, but even though they did an open surgery for me and they didn't have to like pump my stomach with gas, because if they do the laparoscopic surgery, they have to like pump you with gas and blow your stomach up really, really big so that they can see everything that they're doing. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that with me, but they still you know, told me not to drink out of straws and stuff because you can get this air pain. It's like trapped air in your stomach that like it apparently pushes up onto nerves like in your diaphragm or stomach or something like that, and you feel the pain in your shoulders. But anyway, it feels like there is air trapped behind your collarbones, or at least for me, that's what it felt like. It felt like there was just air trapped behind my collarbones. And I was wondering, like, why is it still lasting? Like, it's been 3 weeks. Why am I still getting this air pain, like, randomly? And then I was like, I wonder if it's from drinking out of a straw or through a straw. So I stopped doing it. And sure enough, have not had, you know, that pain since then. So, yeah, don't drink out of a straw. I had an Awala, and the Awala it's like the best water bottle ever because it has a straw and, like, the sipping option, but I'm so like used to drinking through the straw that whenever I put it up to my mouth, I don't think about it. I just automatically drink through the straw. So I had to switch it for like one of my older like cups that doesn't have a straw in it. So no straws because the air pain is not fun. Oh, another thing that I'm doing for my hormonal acne is I have been like after the shower, I'm washing it with salicylic acid, so it's like, you know, just like an acne face wash. And then I am putting aloe, like the purest aloe that I could find. I'll also put that in my recovery playlist. And I'm putting that on my face, on my skin, right after the shower, letting it dry, and then putting my regular moisturizer on. And then, you know, before I go outside, I've been putting zinc or mineral sunscreen on my face, and there's no like dyes or fragrances or anything like that in this sunscreen. It's just like, again, like the purest like mineral sunscreen that I could find with zinc specifically, because those things, the aloe and the zinc, are supposedly supposed to really help with the hormonal acne. So we'll see if that helps. It seems like it is. It's just like, you know, going slower obviously than I want it to. But those are my tips for after surgery, and you know, all the things that I wish I would have known to do to make the surgery process and the recovery even better. But like I said, everything went perfectly. Couldn't have asked for a better experience. Came out of it with some, you know, funny memories, and it was just, you know, I'm very thankful and very grateful for how it went. And if you are watching this and you are having your surgery that is, you know, going to be similar to mine in the future, then please let me know of any questions that you have. Let me know if there's any videos that you want to see from me, whether it's, you know, the nutrition or the workouts that I'm doing or any other videos, then please let me know. But you've got this. Don't be nervous. Thank you so much for watching, and I am so grateful you are here. I will see you in the next video.